Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some football? Because it's not here yet. We got free agency to cover. Sorry about that. Got your hopes up for just a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm Cobra, and I am joined by Alex, Ryan, and Keith. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. Definitely had a great end of the season. Before we get started, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for defeating the Kansas City refs. Thank you for that. Although all of us except for Keith, we're rooting for the Meteor. Meteor should have come, and it didn't.
Let's go, Space Rock.
Come on. Thank you, Ryan. But yeah, there is a reason why we're here today, and that is because free agency is upon us. Free agency has definitely rocked a lot of things in this draft that's about to happen with a lot of great prospects. Like this is interesting. Ryan, I'm gonna swing it your way first. There was definitely a big move that happened recently. Can you break it down?
Which one?
We're talking about let's go to Seattle.
All right. Well, the Seattle Seahawks ended up so they've made a couple of big moves, and there's definitely the potential for more on the way. The biggest confirmed move is that they traded quarterback Geno Smith, former New York Jet, from Seattle. He is now going to be a Las Vegas Raider in exchange for a third-round pick. From all I can see, I think that's a pretty fair value move. I mean, again, Geno's a very solid bridge quarterback for them to bring in, especially if they were going to draft a quarterback in, say, the second or third round, if they have an extra third rounder. I haven't looked at the Raiders draft to exactly see if they have a second, third round pick to potentially still draft someone like, say, a Jackson Dart or a Jalen Milroe in that round. But Geno Smith gives them a good bridge quarterback so that if they do pick somebody who needs time to develop, they have the ability to wait rather than having to rush a rookie who isn't ready to play.
Not just that, it's also Geno Smith is in his 30s.
Yeah, he's 34, if I'm not mistaken. He's 34, so he realistically, his days as a starter will probably be another 3 to 5 years at most.
Yes. Absolutely.
But
Alex.
then,
wait, hold on.
I was going to mention the other
Alex. Ryan, I'll let you finish. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So then the other Seahawk move is in their wide receiver room where they have they've released Tyler Lockett. So come Monday morning, he will be able to start negotiating potential terms with a new team. He could potentially follow his boy Geno to Vegas and rebuild the Seattle Seahawks in Las Vegas with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, and potentially Tyler Lockett. And to speak of Seahawks receivers, we also have DK Metcalf requesting a trade. But at the moment, there hasn't been any actual movement on that trade. It sounds like the Seahawks are going to require a first and a third. At least that's what the rumors are saying for how much they're looking for value. And genuinely, I don't know which team necessarily is giving up that for DK. I'm sure some team will, but I just don't know which one.
Right. Alex?
Yes.
I want to hear your opinion. Your opinion on some free agency moves.
I'm going to talk about a big team in the season last year. Cincinnati Bengals they struggled early on. They came back and fell just short of the playoffs. A couple of teams needed to lose and ended up winning. They have gone in complete panic mode. They tendered and they tagged T. Higgins again. They're losing Trey Hendrickson, their star sack leader on defense. Joe Burrow is in shambles. This team has gone haywire. What are they going to do about Jamar Chase? They're obviously trying to re-sign him. They can't get anything from T. Higgins enough to sign him to a long-term deal. They tagged him that once, but twice. I don't know what they were doing. I thought Higgins would leave the team and hit the free agent market because there were a lot of speculation that the Commanders would get T. Higgins if he did leave, but the Bengals tagged him again. So I don't know what they're gonna do in the draft this year. They need to adjust defense. We don't know what they want for Trey Hendrickson yet. They haven't really said anything, but a lot of rumors are going around that they might accept, third and a fifth round pick for Trey Hendrickson to go anywhere. And the big team as of right now is the Commanders. They're also in, the Miles Garrett sweepstakes. So I don't know what they're doing, but they're brought by Mike Kazicki, a star tight end for Joe Burrow. They got him targets last year a lot. So I feel bad for Bengals fans and Zach Taylor. He's been criticized for his team and he's criticized for running the team how he does, but they need a defense, and trading Henderson is not what they need at all.
All right. Keith.
Yes.
Have you been up to speed on the free agency market?
Not really. I've been partying it out with the people in Philadelphia.
Well, if you don't mind, do you mind if I skip you for a minute?
Go ahead.
All right. So while Keith was partying it up with his fellow Philadelphia fans, I was looking at one of their in-division rivals, and that would be the Washington Commanders. I fortunately have to kind of look at it. Which, hello, Kat.
Hey guys.
So give me one. I'll give you 1 minute, Kat. Let me continue my train of thought. Just hold tight. So I was looking at the Philadelphia Eagles cross-division rival, the Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders had a great showing this playoff season. Obviously, everyone had low expectations for them this past season, with them making it all the way to the NFC Championship game. And it's weird to me that they have decided to cut bait with Jonathan Allen, basically their star defensive tackle. They're like, you know what? We're just not going to go after you for a long-term deal. We know you're a star defensive player, but we're just going to release you. And they also re-signed Bobby Wagner, which is a good move. They need veteran presence in the linebacking core, considering that they're one of their famous linebackers decided to believe he could fly, if that makes sense.
Totally
And
me.
you know what that meant. You know what that meant, Alex.
I did, and it hurts.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Kat.
Yeah.
Hi. Have you been following the free agent market? And if you have, I want to hear from you.
I am a terrible football fan. And I don't follow all the front office nonsense. I mean, obviously I know in my head how all of this works. Do I know who the Ravens are going to go after? No, I don't.
They're
Do I
definitely
know
going to.
They re-signed Ronnie Stanley today.
that? I did see. I did see that pop up on my little notifications. But do I know anybody else who's out there who the Ravens could go for? No, I don't.
They do need a kicker because famous women respecter Justin Tugger is probably gone this year.
He better be. He better be. I'm so over these people. I'm so over it. He doesn't deserve to be on a football team anymore. He just doesn't.
Wow.
Well,
Okay. Wow.
the
I gotta
biggest thing
say
though
that
about
is
kicker is that
a bit. That let me say this one before you continue, Ryan. That is a huge 180 from you, considering that last time we talked about Justin Tucker, you definitely were, defending him. Now it's definitely
Well,
gone. Wow.
well, he hasn't said anything else. He hasn't said anything else. He hasn't apologized. He hasn't, like, there's nothing. Obviously, the only evidence we have is how many people have come forward. And I'm sorry, that's not typically evidence. If you ask any judge in any courtroom, just because a whole bunch of people come forward, that means very little. That being said, he also has not come out and said, let me explain this. He has not come out and said, really anything, which damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing.
Yes.
But
Yeah, I mean, if you apologize for something and you're insisting that it didn't happen, it almost makes it seem like it did happen if you're apologizing for it.
well, and it's it's definitely possible that there was some kind of
was that
misunderstanding.
Was that a mod box I heard?
I don't know where.
I thought you were vaping. I'm sorry about that. I'm like, I heard someone go on the mod box. I'm like, what the hell?
No,
yeah.
no, it was probably just me coughing.
Mm.
But I just
The other
innocent
sorry.
people act a certain way. Guilty people act a certain way. People who maybe they're a little guilty, but maybe a little innocent, act a certain way. And he's not, he's acting a certain way. And
Right.
it's very disappointing to see how he's handling this.
Yep.
Yep.
So here's Keith. I would defer to
He's
you,
not
but
acting innocent.
yeah, I would defer to you about free agency. But I think there is one more person we have got to defer to, and I know he has been looking forward to this for quite a while.
Oh
Hi,
dear.
Radford.
Oh, Yenzer, go away. Nobody wants you.
No, everyone wants to
Nobody
hear how the
wants
Steelers
you.
have gone to Super Bowl with their free agency moves.
Oh,
The
We
Steelers
please.
got
lost to
rid
the
of that
Colts last year.
jag-off Russell Wilson. We got
They
rid
got
of
Aaron
that
Rodgers.
jag-off Justin Fields. We got rid of that jag-off Chase Claypool. We're not going to sign that jag-off Aaron Rodgers because he's gone to the Vikings.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're definitely gone to the Super Bowl and not Ratbird and the other Ratbirds.
Yeah.
Get him out of here. Get him
It's
out of
All right,
here.
it's
Mike
been too
Tomlin,
long
get
since we
there.
had a horse team in the playoff or in the Super Bowl. I think we should put a horse team back in the Super Bowl.
Go next Super Bowl champion.
Not the horse team I wanted, but honestly, I'd be okay with a horse team battle in the AFC Championship game. Broncos Colts.
Oh my gosh. That would
AFC Championship game. The horse bowl.
Joey Overstreet would love you. All I gotta say. By the way, Nude City's Joey Overstreet. How you doing, buddy? We love you, brother.
But one thing I wanted to say about the Justin Tucker thing, just going back to the whole idea of evidence, and I think it's something that came up quite a bit during the Deshaun Watson thing, is that these massage rooms aren't going to have cameras, and it's like, okay, what evidence is there going to be, especially where a lot of these claims are from like a decade ago? There's not going to be a whole lot of evidence to go through, which is going to make it ultimately near impossible to prosecute one way or the other.
Yep.
Which, by the way, speaking of famous women respecter, Deshaun Cosby, yeah, the Browns are definitely going to cut bait with him too.
They can't for another 2 years, at least not based on the cap.
There's a way they could actually void his contract, and Deshaun Cosby might have done that for him.
Well, yeah,
There's
if
always
he
a way
actually
around
gets
the contract.
arrested, but
Well,
at
he was
this
lying about
point,
his foot injury.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
I
it.
say if his foot injury, I mean, he's not going to willingly retire and forfeit all that money.
No, but at the same time, it's like,
And they fully guaranteed the money, so I mean, there's no performance thing where he didn't perform well enough, and they can get some of that back. Like his
exactly.
cap hit, if they were to cut him this year, I think he'd have like 100 million cap hit. So I mean, it's legitimately impossible for them to cut him this offseason.
So it's like Russell Wilson and only Denver. They were in a pit.
Well, but in
with their money.
Denver, they at least had the ability to cut him 1 year later, even though it was going to cost them an arm and a leg. They physically cannot cut him this year because of the cap. They just don't have the cap room to cut him. And in 2026, it would be they would have to borrow the Saints magic to try and figure out how to make that cap work. So I don't think we'll be rid of Deshaun Watson until 2027.
No, I think we're definitely not going to get rid of Jeffrey Epstein. So there is that. Anywho, so the draft is upon us. The draft is definitely getting closer and closer to being upon us. We made a mock draft earlier this season. How do we think our team is going to do in the draft? Very good question.
Tyler Warren to Indy, please.
Alex, I'm going to start with you. How do you think Washington is going to do in the draft, and what position do you want them to focus on?
So, as you guys saw in the chat, I did post my one of multiple mock drafts I do every year, just based on top needs and positions. Washington Commanders need rework on defense. Obviously, defensive line, safeties, corners, trying to fix the dreadfulness of that defense. That could have, honestly, if it was better, it might have been the Super Bowl last year. But it's neither here nor there. The Eagles did their job and got rid of Mahomes' dark magic. But besides that, I'm looking for us to get a cornerback with our first round pick. My pick was as Isaiah Thomas. I feel like based on how bad our secondary was last year with Bishop St. Juice and Noah Igbenogany not doing their job properly, sees Thomas as a great option to plug and play. And I'm surprised we haven't cut St. Juice at all yet. He's a big player. He's too skinny. He was being burned. Got burned in the Pittsburgh game. We could have won that game. And I think we need to really dive into the defense. Now, obviously, if we get Myles Garrett or Hedgerson or one of them, I don't think we're going to go full on and get like a Jack Sawyer type of guy or a James Pierce type of guy in the second round. But I think we're going to get mainly defense. I would hope we get receivers later in the draft. Maybe a Luther Burden in the second. Maybe if, Ibuka is there or Cedric McMillan, if he falls that far. I don't think he will. But I hope Adam Peters can do what he did, or Adam Peters did what he did last year, build a top defensive class. Because obviously a lot of people are saying we're going to be, overrated in the offseason because we did so well. Like Cobra mentioned earlier, we did so well last year, making it to the one game of the Super Bowl. If we get all that put together, look out for us to win the East next year and might make a deep run if Debo actually does something with our offense.
All right. Ryan? Second verse, same as the first.
Yep. Let's get Tyler Warren a one-way trip to Indianapolis. We absolutely say our two biggest needs kind of throughout the season was that our O-line needed help, and we needed a big target at tight end / receiver, and Tyler Warren as a inline tight end can do both. He can help in the run game with run blocking, and he provides a very big, very effective pass target to be throwing to as well. I think he fits both of the things that the Colts need. I was hoping that maybe we might be able to get someone, one of the O linemen in the free agency, but the Chiefs tagged Trey Smith. Now the Falcon or not Falcons, the Ravens going ahead and re-signing Stanley means that the number of O linemen available has gone down significantly, and the quality of them.
Right.
So,
Yes.
but I
All
think
right,
that's
Keith.
our absolute biggest need.
Yes.
All right. This goes to you.
For the Eagles?
What for the Eagles? Yeah. What do you think What do you think they're gonna do to reinforce in the draft? It's
Well, I seriously think they need to work on the lines. Offensive line to give it a little bit more coverage. Keep some of the defensive players off the quarterback. I think we need. I hear of trade on the defensive side too, but hey, that can't happen because they got everybody clicking on all cylinders right now,
right.
and it was evidence through the Super Bowl. They didn't allow Mahomes to do a thing.
Right.
They give him about 3 seconds and was on him. But other than that, the offense, I think the offensive line is where they got to do it, and maybe a little bit of wide receivers, or one wide receiver.
All right. It's not a sexy pick, but yeah, it's definitely a good option. Kat, what do the Ravens do in the draft? I'll be right back, guys.
Ravens. I have said for a long time now, probably since the last time we went to a Super Bowl, that we need to work on our defense because the Ravens have they our whole thing was that the Ravens had a defense, that we were the number one defense. You couldn't score on our defense. And when we got an offense, it was almost like we forgot how to have a defense. And it was almost like Baltimore didn't know how to have an O line and a defense at the same time. So I really think that we need to work on our defense again. We need to. I don't know if we need a new coordinator. I don't know if we need a new something. I don't know. I don't know if it's like there's one puzzle piece that's missing. Because some games, I literally said some games it's like we have the old Ravens defense again. It's like it's the old Ravens again. And then other games, it was like our defense just graduated college with their, you know, phys ed degree. So I really feel like the Ravens need to work on their defense and maybe a little bit of special teams. But Lamar needs some backup for sure.
Excuse me if I'm wrong, but weren't you guys like the number one or number two defense literally 1 year ago?
I don't think so.
I think it was between you guys, the 49ers, and the Eagles for the top defense of not this past year, but the year before.
That would
Yeah.
surprise me. Like that, honestly, that would. And sure,
We were up
You
maybe,
guys
there,
were the
but the
one.
offense,
maybe,
we were having problems.
maybe, maybe we were up there, but it's not the level of defense that we were known for. Like if you guys look at clips
Well,
Sorry.
defenses
guys-
aren't allowed to play like the 2002 Ravens.
Sadly, because that was
Because like that's the
Woo,
like when you
Ray
say like,
Lewis.
oh yeah,
Ray Lewis going after you. Like, watch out.
yeah. So I mean, saying like, oh yeah, it's not like your old defense. Yeah, because your old defense literally wouldn't be allowed.
But
And
I
that's
feel
not
like
like changing the
like
draft.
our defense has allowed more. Even playing style put aside, I feel like our defense has allowed more than our other defenses would have allowed. And
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
I
know.
still think
I
your
just
number one thing to go after would be a corner still to help strengthen that secondary.
I mean, secondary is always I I feel like our secondary is always what's falling apart and causing a missed play or a missed tackle or something.
Yeah,
But I could also find fault with almost everybody's secondary. I don't think there's a team out there that has a perfect secondary.
No such thing.
I can think of at least one team with a green logo and a bird that
The
has a pretty
Eagles?
good secondary.
The Eagles?
Stupid Cooper DeJean falling to them like that. It was so stupid.
I mean, between Cooper
Eagles.
DeJean and Leon Mitchell, two rookies, being able to lock it down and assuming that they'll develop in year two, I think the Eagles have one of the best cornerback rooms you could ask for.
Yeah, I was praying Cooper DeJean didn't fall to the Eagles. I was like, someone take him before the Eagles get him. Please him, and then the Eagles got him. I was like, come on,
Yep.
dude, one job, people.
Yeah, I wanted him or Quinyon Mitchell on the Colts.
I wanted him on the Commanders. I was like, get rid of Israel, just get rid of Igamagini. Give me DeJean. Give me the white corner out of Iowa. Give me that man.
Yep.
But no, they had to fall 41st overall to the Eagles. And I was like, come on, people. What are we
Yeah,
doing?
it almost fell right back to the Packers, which would have been a fun one.
Are you done?
Yeah. I have a couple of players taking home. I have Tesha McMillan going to the Cardinals in my mock draft. So he can
Discord
stay in
dropped
Arizona.
on me. How fitting.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yep. All right. So as now it's my turn.
Yep.
With
How do you think the Buffalo
Bills.
Bills are going to do in the draft?
Well, for one thing, I definitely know we're getting rid of Kyer Elam. That was like I said, I called that. You know, I mean, seriously,
I think we called that at the beginning of the season.
yeah.
We were like, this guy's gotta go.
Yeah, if there wasn't any doubt, it was this season. Like,
I had never heard the guy's name until that playoff game where he got toasted.
Yeah, he got toasted hard.
Ooh,
But like, I had
right.
literally never heard his name before.
Yeah, he was, and the worst part about it was he was a first round pick. No, that's even worse. So he's definitely
he was a first round pick.
Yes, 30th overall.
That's crazy.
He was like 30th overall, just from the Florida Gators. He was supposed to be like the heir apparent to like Tremaine Edmonds. And he was supposed to like fill in, basically take the pressure off his knee and all that stuff. And he didn't develop. He had like he had a great interception against the Pittsburgh Steelers in that playoff game last year, but it was like everything else was mediocre at best. You could have put, it was just, I as I told you, as Ryan had set up for me in a TikTok video we'll probably release later on. I even said that that's probably the big thing that Buffalo has to do is cut bait with Kyer Elam. So Buffalo will be drafting, I believe, a new cornerback to replace him. Because, yeah. everything else is set. I mean, they're in the Myles Garrett sweepstakes. They are.
Is there a free agent corner you guys might want to go after, or is it just purely draft?
I think it's just purely draft, mainly because of capital.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because if you go after a guy in the draft, I mean, as evidenced by Kyrie Elam, say a draft pick could go just as badly, if not worse.
It can, but at the same time, it's also like the Bills have more pressing matters to deal with in the cap, so they kind of have to go with that route. And it also seems like that the secondary position is, kind of cheap. When it comes to secondary,
All right.
Not in a bad way, but just more in a, hey, a lot's up for grabs. Anyhow, but that is it for our emergency podcast of the Hard Count, which of course was brought to you by Fanatics. Baseball season is upon us, so why not gear up and get ready for opening day? Get yourself a jersey, grab a hat, and get ready for baseball season. And also, we are on the road to WrestleMania.
Yes.
Obviously, we are on the road to WrestleMania. John Cena is on his final year. It is his retirement year, and also he has turned heel, so check out that Cena heel merch. And, of course, we got to also mention, hey, the NHL is in full swing. The NFL draft is coming, so the future star your team will pick up, their names will be available on Fanatics when they do become available. So, use our affiliate
Unless
link.
They pull a Marvin Harrison Jr.
Save for Marvin Harrison Jr. But use our affiliate link in the bio wherever you get your podcasts. Show the channel some love. And by the way, we're also on TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify, other podcast platforms. Like, comment, and subscribe. Check out our other affiliates that are in the bio. They still work. They're great products. We do believe in them. And hey, we'll definitely be ready for the draft. And check out our other podcasts as well: Biscuits and Penalties, Dirt and Turf, The Lap Down, and of course the Social Slam podcast. Check those out all on our Social Sports Pad podcast page. And of course, I'm Cobra. And on behalf of Alex, Ryan, Keith, and Kat, we will see you on draft day.